What up?
I'm Kevin,
I'm Jerry.
and we're the Tri-County DVOPS. So
Word.
it's been a while, but been a little busy.
It's been a little hectic lately. It really has.
No, it has. It's I don't know. The jobs are out there, so it's
we've done 3 hiring events.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of windshield time. We've done a lot of stuff, and it's been, like you were saying, it's been really hectic lately. It really has.
Yeah.
But it's good to be back.
No, it is,
Yeah.
and we're hiring fair October 1st, Sierra Vista Mall, so we got another one.
Yeah. So like you're saying, it's been a while, and we just want to say what up and welcome back to the Tri-County DVOP, and we are better than, I don't even want to say Southside 6. It puts,
Those Tucson guys.
Those Tucson guys. Yeah, we are better. We are the better DVOPs.
Them city folks.
Yeah, the city mouse. We're a little country mouse down here in Sierra Vista. So, but anyway, welcome. It's nice to be back. We have I don't know if we want to be an exciting show. It's kind of.
I don't know how well it's.
Well, you are the show.
Rusty.
I mean, a little rusty today. But anywho,
because I'm so pretty.
You are. I mean, has Janet told you you're pretty lately?
No, she never told
Janet,
me.
he's pretty. He is pretty. So if you are a veteran, spouse of a veteran, transitioning service member, all of the above, and you're looking to reinvent yourself, go to school, whatever, come down and see Kevin and myself. We're at numerous locations.
Yeah.
Primarily over at the Arizona Work Office is a good place to start. That's at 2600 East Wilcox Drive here in Sierra Vista. We have 2 locations in Safford, 8th Avenue, actually 2 different Arizona Work buildings, one on 8th Avenue and the other one on Thatcher Boulevard. And my pretty co-host here, he does Douglas. Do you know the address for Douglas?
No, I just know you go down the main street and it's like 3 or 4 stoplights and on the
Watch out for Popo.
Yeah, don't accidentally run the red light.
That's bad.
Expensive.
Popo will pull you over. They don't have a sense of humor down there.
I had to take the traffic safety class. That was $240.
That class sucks. Did you have to go to Tucson?
No, I was able to do it online because of COVID. So.
I had to go to Tucson 8 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was horrible.
Mm.
And people don't want to shut up. It's like, look.
Well, and when I talked to the courthouse, I was like, but I stopped at the first 3 lights. Shouldn't I get partial credit?
I would think so.
No, you missed one.
No.
That's it.
They always get you at the 3rd light.
I'm just glad nobody was coming the other way. I mean, I missed it. I screwed up.
What are you gonna do?
Nobody got hurt. Do you know why I stopped you? No, because you failed to stop at a stop. There's a stoplight?
I got pulled over one time. The officer was like, you know why I pulled you over? He said, no, why, officer? You're a threat. And I said, how am I a threat? You're just too pretty. I get that all the time, and it's just not, it's unfair. It really is. Pretty people. It's not our fault being pretty. We get punished.
We do.
We really do. So, what's up with those damn batteries?
No.
So, anyway, we've had this one program around for a while, and I highly encourage all veterans to take advantage of the program because it is what we call our Veteran Toolkit. If you are in the process of getting an offer letter, or say you just started work yesterday, please let us know, because if there's things that you're going to need, i.e. clothes, tools, whatever, we have the ability to purchase those items for you through no cost to you. But, we can't buy thousands of dollars worth of stuff. But anywho, so if you have questions about that, and like I said, you're that veteran and you're going back to work, come down and see Kevin and I. We might be able to hook you up.
Yeah, so. The items they're what you need to start working, and it's really to get you to that first paycheck.
Exactly.
So a lot of it came about because I had veterans that they were, let's say, construction workers. In off season, they ran out of money. They had to pawn their tools.
Yeah, exactly.
And the question was, if you get a job right now, what would you need? And they said, I need tools. So they came up with a toolkit. Now, the thing with the toolkit is we've had mechanics, and they're used to what is the Mac tools and Snap-on or whatever. Yeah, we're not going to cover that. Just enough to get you started so you can start, building your toolkit.
But like I said, if you get that offer letter and say, for an example, you start working a couple weeks earlier, the better. But as an example, if you started work yesterday, we got 5 days, actually 4.5.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you're interested or have questions or a veteran, whatever, just send them down to come see Kevin and myself, and we'll get squared away. Mm-hmm. We want to spend the money. We like shopping. It's
it's use or lose. So we've got to spend it. So take advantage of the program. The money comes from the veteran license plate.
Exactly.
It's veterans that are helping veterans.
Exactly. And one of the things I say is, let us do something nice. Even if it's just I bought just a few pairs of shoes or just a few pairs of pants, or it's just doing something nice. And like you said, it's use or lose.
Doesn't he sound sweet?
I do. We just want to do something nice because I would just say we care. Yeah, hug yourself or pop a Oscar Bravo, little pat on the back, people. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. So we were any shout outs or anything? How about Maria with H-1B?
Yeah, I was reading up on that program.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, a lot of technical. Everything from nursing to IT.
Yeah.
Don't understand the program completely, but if you're not rolling in the dough, I just recommend you pop into Arizona at work and ask for Maria.
Yeah. You don't have to be a veteran, but for our veterans, please, if you need something training, go see her.
Yeah, and it's an additional form of it's additional grant money. So we have the Title I, our normal processing. You may not qualify for Title I, but you may qualify for the H-1B.
Yeah, exactly. It's a phenomenal grant. It really is. Really cool. Yeah. And but yeah, so please take advantage of that. It's free training dollars. You just have to qualify, and it's designed to help take some of the burden off your shoulders. School's expensive. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if you take student loans out and you got to pay them back for like 50 years or some crap like that. That sucks. That's horrible. But last week you had one of our awesome DVOPS down here, Ray Tilkin.
Yeah, we were 5 minutes into the show, and the equipment malfunctioned, and the knowledge base was not at the center. So we had to call it quits. But Ray's going to come down probably sometime here in October, and we're going to get him to talk about the Hilton Honors Program.
Which is another phenomenal program.
And the gist of it, because I don't know how the points work anymore because they've made changes, but basically, if you have a job interview and it's further than Marana, from here, Sierra Vista to Marana, then basically you're going to pay for the hotel room.
Yeah.
So you got an interview on a Monday, you go up Sunday, get in your hotel, get checked in, go down to the location, because I'll tell you, some of these buildings are huge. And they're going, they're going north side, south side, west side. So you got your compass,
southeast, southwest.
So you kind of scope so that when you show up the next morning, you know where you're going. Plus, having a hotel room on Sunday night, iron your interview clothes, relax, get a good night's sleep, and be ready for your interview.
Just a quick interjection, and I know this will never happen because you don't like getting icky out in the desert. So, but if we're ever in a situation, don't give me the compass. You take the compass.
I got one on my phone.
Well, that works really good. I'll.
And yes, I know how to use a compass, even though I'm Air Force. I learned it in Boy Scouts.
damn Boy Scouts. So I just want to say a real special shout out. I'm going to get a little cheesy here, please. I know you may tear up. It's okay.
I didn't even bring the tissues.
You did? You just use a sandbag.
Yeah, okay.
We got a Marine Corps t-shirt. Just wipe your tears.
I got a sticky. Wait, that was sticky side.
Ah, crap. That stuck to my eye. You're going to walk around like an eye patch. Why you got a pink eye patch? Or what is that?
Blue.
What would that be called?
Blue. Baby blue?
Baby blue? Yeah.
I don't know. I just stick with basic colors.
It's blue. Yeah. So I just want to say happy birthday to my wife. She's awesome. They're quiet.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. To an amazing wife. I don't see how she's put up with me all these years.
Make him buy you something expensive.
Don't even go there. It's already been done. It's already been done. It was deposited yesterday.
My wife, she says, on her birthday, she goes, "Oh, guess what you got me?"
You gotta slap it.
I gotta slap it.
You gotta slap the desk.
No, I'm the face toucher.
Now I got my hand. So we were excuse me. So we were discussing items to talk about today. Yeah. And I know here in we're going to have more guests, stuff like that, and maybe finally invite Eric because I think he gets upset because he hasn't been to the bunker yet. So
yeah, well, for those of you who don't know, he's our business services rep, and he does a lot. He helps with he does a lot of the work.
Yeah, does a lot
of the job fairs, but he's the guy that goes and talks to the businesses and tells them this is what Arizona at Work can do for you. You know how we can find you those employee candidates. You know that are going to be a good match.
Yeah, he was the guy that we tried to avoid when we were active duty. He was the dreaded retention guy.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's just those guys.
This is why you want to stay in.
Yeah, it's why you want to stay
in
the Army.
Outside. Sure. This is what you get.
Yeah, stay in the Army, re-enlist 4 more years.
Yeah.
Suckers.
I didn't tell you 4 more years includes 2 or 3 more additional duties.
Yeah, probably a deployment in there somewhere. Yeah. They don't mention that in the travel brochure. So we will hopefully at some point be wanting him to come on. And,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's an Alabama fan. So,
yeah, we humor him.
We'll talk slow.
Yeah, he's special. He's Alabama special. So, but we were discussing one of the things we were going to talk about was applications, maybe kind of
job search.
Which I think job search, as long as DVOP and some of the stuff I did prior to being a DVOP, people get tripped up so easily by doing a job search. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, because there's so much information out there, and there's so many sites you can go to.
And one of the common mistakes that I have seen is, say, as an example, I'm going to apply for a job at Walmart. Mm-hmm. A lot of clients don't pay attention to the links they're selecting when they're doing their job search.
Oh, I agree. I agree completely.
Because I've heard it a lot where, well, Jerry, I get college it's like, well, I'm trying not to be rude, but you're not paying attention. You see that job, say, as an example, you see the company, you click on it. Next thing you know, you've submitted a resume or email, and you're getting blasted with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, well, and some of those, I think like Snag-a-Job,
mm-hmm.
they don't charge for the listings. So the way they make money is they have third-party advertising. So if you're applying for a job and it takes you to a link and it asks you if you have back problems or you want to quit smoking, you're done. Get out of there. Go to the company website. Yeah, Exfil. Let's go. What is it? DD Mal.
DD Mal, baby. Index.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite 3 words.
Index.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, you go and you click on, apply, and it's for Walmart, and it takes you, look at the URL at the top, of your browser. If it's not taking you to Walmart, just go to the Walmart website, and I'll tell you, every company, their website, it's either going to be careers, employment, and it's either going to be at the very top or the very, very bottom of that first page.
One of the things I've always said, try to have people do, and lesson learned over the years, is that if I want to apply, and I'm just going to pick on Walmart today, if I'm going to apply, I always Google search Walmart careers and pay attention to the URL or in the little box that or when it comes up with your selection, you're reading everything because people don't pay attention.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people don't get suckered into buying stuff. The problem becomes that, so you have a specific email account for job searching, and next thing you know, it's just spammed. Exactly. And you may miss that, that, hey, we want to set up an interview with you at this day, this time. So you may miss out on the employment.
So let me ask you this. Going to do a little challenge. Let's do your...
Challenge accepted.
That's why I love you. You're awesome. Top 3 websites you like, job search sites you like. That you push.
Okay.
And why?
Arizona Job Connection, because I'm required to.
Yeah,
that's what we use.
It is the greatest thing in the world. You will love it.
It is a good tool, but not every employer puts job listings on our site. It's not, they get to choose. I mean, it's not mandatory. Then I like Glassdoor.
Okay.
And everybody knows Federal's USA Jobs, so I'm going to kind of steer clear of that. I'm going to go generic.
That's a whole different animal.
I like Google. I like to go to Google and type jobs, Sierra Vista. And when I hit enter, it comes up with a small listing of jobs, and it says see more, and you see more. And what it's doing is it's pulling from all the job websites. Now, I'm not saying apply through that link. I'm saying find the job. It says Jacobs has a position for engineer, tech, or whatever. Go to the Jacobs website.
Yeah, no, and you're right. For me, I'm kind of torn. I like Indeed. I really do. I think, especially if you're contracting. I mean, it has a huge variety. I've watched, like, with 2 of my sons who are in the mining industry, never had issues with Indeed. I mean, they always get callbacks.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side of it, I like AJC, Arizona Job Connection. One, and I'm just going to steal your thunder on this, that's a nice place. You can have up to, 5 resumes. Mm-hmm. And I've heard you, and I've gotten to saying this now, it's a great place to have your master resume.
Yeah, I mean, it's bullets.
It really is.
Tons and tons of bullet statements on your duties for each job.
And that's what I like about it. Now, my only downside to Arizona Job Connection is, truthfully, honestly, I don't like how it downloads into a Word document.
Yeah,
that's my only drawback, but it's easy to fix.
I think it's an acceptable to professional resume.
Yes.
However, I think it can be better. Mm-hmm. And so we tend to use a little bit different formats, and sometimes it's going to be based on the job you're applying for, or maybe even the employer.
Because what I'd like about what I think I love about AJC, and I'm just going to call Arizona Job Connection AJC from here on out, is we utilize ONET Online, which is freaking amazing when it comes to doing your resume building, because it does a lot of the thinking for you, just about. Now, with a lot of military jobs, it's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, it has the military crosswalk. Yeah. So you put in your MOS, your AFSC. What does the Navy have? Any
ratings or
rating?
Sailors, they're weird. They're weird. Just say it. Throw it out there. Sailors are odd. They're weird little ducks. But anywho, so... but when you're working in AJC, and that's the nice thing I think about, is that when you put that job description in there, it just starts pulling up a bunch of different information to select at that point. And that's what I like about it.
And the bullet statements for duties, tools that you use, your soft skills, those are like industry standards. Mm-hmm. So when you put it together, you should be matching up with the job listing pretty well. Then you go in, you need to tailor it a little bit more to yourself, because if everybody's giving them a resume that just has the information from the occupational network on it, you're not separating yourself.
Yeah. And one of the things, well, I know you make fun of me about this. It's a broken record at this point after 3 years, just about. So, when it comes to doing your resume, I think everybody has an opinion. They really do. And so what I tell people is, if your resume is neat and professional and gets you to a job interview, go your bad self. It works. It's working. Why reinvent the wheel? And the nice thing I like about AJC is that, so I want to create 4 other resumes, whether it's functional, whatever, you have the ability to do that very easily. And so I like to encourage clients, utilize AJC as best as humanly possible. Because the nice thing about it is, anything government connected, they have to put the job in AJC anyway.
Yeah.
So, and that's the nice thing about it for all you contractors out there. It's a nice tool to have.
Yeah, and if you don't have a LinkedIn account, you need one. That's true.
Yeah.
And build your resume in LinkedIn for your professional experience. Because if you're looking for a job, you can turn your account active.
Mm-hmm.
So now companies can do a quick search on LinkedIn for potential candidates. And they may reach out to you.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I always forget about LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn account. I don't really use it. I think it was a requirement, but the nice thing is, and I think it's kind of job searching, it seems like they're reinventing the wheel as we go along. If you have a very professional profile on LinkedIn, a lot of employers are looking there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of tools of the trade dealing with LinkedIn. And we went to that class a couple of years ago, and BSR was explaining to us about LinkedIn. And especially for the veterans out there, if you're going to do a LinkedIn account, keep it professional.
Yeah.
Shirt, tie, or business casual. Stay away from anything burning vehicles or Rambo. And I know that must have been hard for you developing your profile.
Well, I'm in my Air Force Blues, and I'm holding up my keyboard because that was my weapon. There were many like it, but that one was mine. Actually, it didn't look like this, but
it was camouflage though.
Yeah, without my keyboard, I was useless.
Yeah, you're useless.
Without me, my keyboard was useless.
Yeah, so I'm
a hardcore admin, combat admin.
Getting emotional. We have to take one of the Post-its.
I had my camo netting over my desk. You couldn't even see me.
Yeah, you're just like the ultimate secret squirrel guy.
I was pretty tough.
Face painted in your office, blend into the wall. You're pretty awesome. But be careful. Be careful when you're doing your. I would think be careful when you're doing your LinkedIn account.
Yeah,
set it up.
LinkedIn, nothing personal. Keep them 100% professional. There was a time when you and this applies to your resume too. Where they wanted to see where you volunteered, and I'd be honest that in this day and age, people are more judgmental, and
unfortunately, yes.
And so, if you're, I'm just going to throw it out there. You're involved in the Boy Scouts. There are people that think negative of the Boy Scouts and may not hire you. So, keep personal.
I hate to say this, not everybody likes veterans. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not everybody does.
Yeah.
So I would say do your homework before you start applying. Do your
homework on the types of companies that you want to work for and the position. If go to the company. Google has some preferences.
Mm-hmm.
And they're big on the environment, so if you were, involved in recycling in different programs, then it might behoove you to put it then on there.
And I think it's kind of interesting to bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
As a service member, or soon to be ex-service member veteran, a lot of the stuff we do in the military, we are a very environmentally friendly corporation.
Yeah, we're the first ones.
Yeah, so
we do environmental impact studies if we're going to bring in a different airframe, or different
drive a
artillery
tank
pieces.
through the woods, as an example.
I mean, every installation has archaeologists.
Yeah.
And
I know that's a subject for another time, but it's really fascinating when you look at veterans on everything that we have done in the military, how that impacts us when we ETS or retire. Because if you're doing a job search and you're like, well, I was an 88 Mike in the Army, I don't want to be a truck driver in the civilian when I get out. What can I do? Well, let's have a seat. Let's sit down and say you bring this up all the time. Additional duties, especially if you're an NCO. Even if you're a high-speed E4 or E3 or whatever, key custodian. There's all these different
equipment
things.
Custodian, building custodian. I was frequency manager for my squad, and I had emergency management.
Yeah.
So I've taken the FEMA courses, and so it's one area where if I just chose to, I could go ahead and I could apply for FEMA. Mm-hmm. It's just that FEMA tends to be regional, so I'm not going to work here in Sierra Vista. So I have no desire to leave Sierra Vista, so that may not be an option.
No, and you're right. I mean, so when you're looking for jobs and you've already done your resume or you've done a functional resume or whatever, because there's so many, I think there's over 7 different types or something like that, 5 to 7.
Yeah, I only focus on about 3.
Yeah, and so for me, I like putting everything on my resume, and that's just me. But when you're doing your job search, take into consideration the additional duties that you did in the military. Mm-hmm. Because you have, even though you may have only done those part-time, that may have a major impact where that employer says, oh, wow, you were a key custodian. How would you like to work for my company doing blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, so I think it's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm more the targeted. Give you an example. I mean, sometimes you have all this experience and I just need a job right now. Mm-hmm. And I had a veteran come to me and he said, hey, Kev, Walmart won't hire me. You think it's my resume? I said, well, let me see. And I looked at the resume. He was trying to get a position as a stalker. Well, okay, number one, you have a master's degree on there.
Yeah, that's no good.
And you don't need to put those degrees on there. You graduated high school. You're not lying. And
exactly.
And then I said, okay, your first bullet here, or your summary says that you managed HR for a company of 300 employees. And I said, Walmart doesn't even have 300 employees. You're a threat. You're not going to stay. So you need a separate resume for those kind of positions.
Yeah, and I think it's a shame because you take pride in your service. Got it. That is so amazing.
Yeah. And it is personal.
Yes.
I a lot of people, it's not no, it's personal to you.
Yes.
You did it.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
When you look back at your career and you see the accomplishments, 20 years in the Air Force, an example.
Yeah, you go from
private to
nobody, to mid-level management.
Yeah, you're, you and I have talked about this, all the stuff you did in the military is kind of badass.
Yeah. For
a guy who's a high school graduate.
Yeah.
And that is amazing. But that could have bit you in the butt. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying, if you wanted, I just want to work at Walmart. I just want to be a stalker. Mm-hmm. I have a high rating. I'm not really, I just want something to do. So I think there's a lot of things to take into consideration when you start doing your job search. Some people want to stay competitive in this and that, and some people just, I just want a nice little comfortable job.
Yeah.
Kind of keep me busy, make a little bit of money because I have money coming in.
Yeah.
Whether it's a retirement or whatever, and that's great. But there's so many different things to take into consideration.
Oh, and I just thought of something. I don't know what made me think of it, and it's on topic.
It's about me.
It's on topic. But so, like Indeed and a few of the other sites, if you do hit the apply, you'll see it pull information for your resume.
Yeah.
You better double check that.
Yes.
Because it may put it in the wrong spot.
Yes.
blah blah. It may not pull it whatsoever. And I've had veteran clients, and actually just anybody, like in the resource room. Do I have to fill out all of this in the application? I just gave them the resume. Yes. It
Yes.
sucks. It's redundant.
Yes.
Guess what? They want to see that effort.
Because I look at it this way, you bring up an interesting point, is that, so say you're filling out a paper application, which, just an FYI, a lot of your mom and pop businesses here in Sierra Vista, hotels, stuff like that, they have paper applications at our office at 2600 East Wilcox Drive. Just an FYI. But look at it from the human resource standpoint, the person who may be conducting the interviews. If I turn in an application with just my resume on, says see resume, you're not taking this serious enough.
No, and the thing is HR may not be the one that's interviewing you.
Exactly.
So you're giving HR the application, they're screening that with the resume to determine who's going to be in the lot of individuals that are interviewed. That application stays with HR. The resume goes to whoever's interviewing.
Well, and something else I think to consider too, the benefit of using a resume builder, say in AJC, because when you attach your resume to that, it has all the keywords in it. It has all the right font, stuff like that. So when they upload it, the system is reading it and it's able to read it, versus if you just try to do a resume from scratch. And I've seen this happen before. When you print it out, it's all discombobulated, because it's not done right.
Yeah, and like if you're filling the online application out, why are you retyping it?
Yeah.
Open up your resume, copy the bullets, paste it into your duties, take the bullets out, put some ands, ors, make it a mini paragraph.
And with the exception of your current job, make sure everything's
past tense.
Past tense.
Yeah,
because you're not current in those
you're not
positions.
doing it anymore.
Yeah.
It's little things like that. And yes, you need to don't leave anything on the resume blank. If it's not applicable, put not applicable.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always said, don't give them an opportunity to ask questions until the interview. So your resume should answer everything. Your application should answer everything.
I'm glad we're talking about this. It was the first time I've ever been asked this. Should your resume tell a story, or should it be professional?
I like the idea of the story, but I think it should be professional.
Yeah, because
if you're working different,
I feel federal should be telling a story.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But if you're non-government, I agree with you. I think it should be very professional, and I think that's the importance of utilizing AJC.
Yeah, and if we're looking no more than 2 pages on that resume. So if you've had multiple positions, and we go back 10 years, and you have 2 or 3 positions in there that really have nothing to do with the job you're applying for, minimize that down to a bullet, maybe 2 bullets, or just a brief description, so that you can expand on the jobs that line up more with what you're applying for.
Exactly.
Yeah, because honestly, they're not going to read those bullets. I mean, if you're applying for administrative and you did construction at one time, they're going to go construction. They're going to skip all of that. So you just wasted all that space.
And I know in the last, I'm just going to round it out to 2 years because of the whole COVID thing, and we're still in it and all this other stuff. And I understand some people will say, well, Jerry, Kevin, I have major gaps in employment. How do I fill those in? That's a tough one to me. But however, because of the situation we're in during the recession, because you just came on board around that time frame, we saw people with huge gaps in employment. I feel that the hiring managers are going to be understanding.
I think with COVID, I think more so. I worry about the mom and pop managers, how they're
Yeah.
going to feel because they struggled so much.
Hmm.
The larger companies, not so much. They basically they laid off people so that they could go get the unemployment benefits, and then brought a lot of them back
Yeah.
once we were able to open up more. But I am waiting to see how that works out.
Yeah.
You know, because there's some mom and pops that struggled and couldn't get people to work.
Yeah. We worked with them. Our amazing manager Teresa and I,
Mhm.
who's phenomenal. Just going to throw that out there. We worked with a lot of the mom and pops during the pandemic, and it was
Yeah,
just unbelievable.
yeah.
But so I thought that was kind of interesting. Is like, okay, so how do you explain that in your job in the resume in the application process?
Well, and that's a tough one. But if you're volunteering, you're filling that gap.
Exactly.
And look, I mean, if you're even if you're volunteering at your church and you're doing you're cooking or you're doing something once a month. I mean, you don't have to be working every single day volunteering. If you do it that month, you're covering that month, and you go look. I coached.
Or
during that time.
homeschooling your kids through that time frame.
Yeah, exactly. So there's things that you can do. Yeah, I do think for a lot of parents that this gap during COVID. I mean, yeah, you have kids. You were homeschooling. You were doing a lot.
Yeah, and it was very busy.
Yeah, so and then of course some were homeschooling and doing the telework.
We used to see, during people coming in applying for unemployment and stuff, bringing their kids with them.
Mhm.
I saw that every day. So
Yeah.
that there's a lot of things that to take into consideration when you're doing the application process. Because I do agree, I don't think you should leave gaps.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I think there's ways to fill those gaps in
Mhm.
to where you're not lying. And a lot of people would be like, "Well, Jerry, I don't want to question my integrity." You're not.
No, I mean, I've got veterans that they have a gap of 3 or 4 years. I said, "What'd you do?" Well, I did odd jobs. Well, you were a business owner.
Yeah, exactly.
You
So
know,
I agree. There's a lot of ways to fill in those gaps,
yeah,
and don't be afraid to put those gaps because I tell people I was like, well, how do I explain that to the employer? Okay, so you spent X amount of years active duty, you have a disability rating, hypothetically. Um, your spouse wanted to work, you wanted to stay home, maybe go to school for a while.
hmm
Put that on. Explain.
Well, and
You know.
that's what I did on my resume for this position because I did have a gap in employment between the Air Force and here. But I was going to school. So I put that school time as a job in my work
Well, it
history.
is.
I didn't expand a whole lot. I just put a little bit of, some of the studies. But that way, so when they read through it, they went, oh, okay, well, he
Yeah.
was going to school full time.
No, and I mean, there's and I think that's what's kind of neat is there's so many different ways to fill those gaps in.
Yeah.
Because, like you were saying this morning, we were talking about this. We're seeing an uptick in people going back to school.
Yeah, I think I think it started really during COVID,
Yeah.
even at the height when it was can't work, and I mean I could take classes online, and I qualify for financial aid. I can go to school full time, so
Yeah.
I think that's had a little something to do with the lag and people going back to work as well,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to finish school, get something better.
And there's probably nothing wrong with that at all.
No,
You're improving. You're getting that education. You're making. Excuse me. You're making yourself more marketable.
nap time.
Yeah, nap time. Jerry need nap. But yeah, so you're making yourself more marketable, which is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's a great idea because you look at the expanding market that we're going into. Some things are changing so rapidly. The advancement we're seeing a rise on more virtual type employment.
Yeah, a lot of virtual. I was just reading at the National Labor Exchange. If you go to that and you select veteran, you can actually select virtual positions.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
And so they're out there. The state is doing more and more virtual.
I have no desire to do virtual. I don't see how you did it.
I got to know my dogs.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they still don't speak English, but they don't talk.
But think of the conversations you had.
Oh, yeah. Shut up. I'm in a meeting.
Intense debates. Especially when they argue back with you.
Yeah, the only time the dogs barked was when FedEx or UPS came by, which was constantly during COVID. Everybody was ordering online.
Well, that, and I noticed that always in the meetings, too.
Yeah.
That's when FedEx is top by.
Yeah. But that was everybody, because a majority of us were teleworking.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think there's, the application process is interesting. I agree. I feel that a lot of clients make the same mistakes over and over again doing a job search, or they don't pay attention, or why do I need to fill this out all the way? See my resume, or I don't need to fill it, so it's interesting. And I feel when you're doing your job search, treat it as if you're going to work every day.
Yeah.
Put in more than 5 hours a day doing a job search.
Yeah. And I recommend having a copy of your resume on a thumb drive.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we see is everybody has this, and you don't have to put a password in every time you go check your email. And then you go in and you're using a computer at Arizona at Work or an American Job Center, and you have to sign into your email, and you're like, I don't remember.
Oh my God.
If you got it on the thumb drive, you save yourself the hassle.
Two, a good thing about keeping your resume handy, thumb drive or whatever. Say you're shopping after you have to go to the store or whatever, and you go in there and you're at this little store and you're just like, hey, are you guys hiring right now? Yeah, we are. Oh, okay. Because and you never know what the employer is looking for.
Yeah. Email me your thumb drive.
Yeah.
My battery's dead.
Yeah. So you always be prepared.
Yes.
When you're unemployed or looking for a better job, because you don't know what they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, and we have a little pamphlet at Arizona at Work. It's called Master Resume.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be called Master Application, but basically you fill it out, keep it in your back pocket, and let's say you walked into a mom and pop that you wanted to work at, and they do paper application. It looks so much better if you fill out the application right there rather than taking it home.
Well, hold on, what do we got over here? So let's see. Angelica.
These are all great points. She's just being nice.
She is. Okay, so do you support using formats other than chronological to help with gaps?
Functional.
Ooh, yes.
Functional for gaps.
Yes.
Put that work experience at the very bottom so you can show off and impress them with your skills, your experience at the top. Let them get real impressed, and then maybe see that gap. We actually, if I have a formerly incarcerated, what are they called now? I don't know. I get that term. Something where the law, but anyways, somebody.
We'll have Paul on at some point.
Yeah.
That will explain all of that.
What the current term is. But anyways,
Tucson DVOPS.
You're incarcerated. You're going to have a gap in employment. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go, all right, did you work the kitchen? Did you have a duty that you had to work? Because we can actually fill the gap there. But if not, we're going to go with the functional. We're going to highlight those skills, the experience, and we're going to shove that gap down at the very, very bottom.
Yeah.
Very last.
No, it's a good question. That's why it's Angelica. She's amazing.
Tony's House 27.
I don't know who that is.
Hey, if we stare at it long enough.
I know it'll. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Just stare at it for a while.
The old Macy's commercial.
Open. And go. But no, it's interesting because I don't think there's really. Oh no,
There's not. I mean,
I would
there's
say
no one right way, but
yeah,
there are techniques on resumes.
yeah.
So I have a veteran who's looking to get into teaching, and so I said, do you mind if I share your resume with um, HR over at Cass to get recommendations because they hire teachers?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Because I'm just not as familiar. So why not let somebody else look it over that knows the industry better?
No, and you're right. And I think I know when I build a resume from scratch, my big thing is trying to have those skills at the top of the resume.
Hmm.
I want the employer to be able to see those because to me, your education,
Oh yeah, yeah.
clearances, specialized
That's
training,
I tell you,
certifications.
anytime I don't see the security clearance at the top of the resume, I go shame, shame.
Yeah.
Because that is, I mean, that is number one. You have to for that position, you have to have a clearance.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're looking for a certification, don't put that down at the very bottom, education certification. A lot of people like to put it there. You can keep it there. That's great. A
Yeah.
little bit of redundancy. But get that bad boy at the top, too.
Exactly. No,
Because your
you're
HR
right.
is looking, they're going, I need one of these. Got it. One of these. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's it's the hiring authority that you really, really need to impress. HR is just going to look at it and go, all right, you meet the requirements. Okay, this individual, we believe, is a good interview candidate.
No, and you're right. You're absolutely right. But there's so many tricks to the trade. There's so many things that you can do. I just, some people may think resumes are kind of boring to discuss. I think it's kind of interesting because I love hearing everybody's different opinion on how they build a resume,
Yeah.
especially if it keeps them employed. You had a client, he had a 13-page one, never had to worry about a job,
No.
which is amazing because I
We're
preach
just like,
2 to 3 pages.
We preach that 2 pages until we're blue in our face with him, and he still keeps getting a
Yeah.
job with 13 pages.
Which is amazing.
And I talk to HR folks, and they go, oh, I don't get it. I said, well, you guys keep hiring him. You're
No,
telling
I
me
know.
2 pages.
I know.
You're
It's
taking
awesome.
13,
It's so amazing. So I don't think there's no wrong way.
Now, I will say this. There are companies where if you're over 2 pages, they're not even going to look at it.
Yeah.
And there's companies
That's
where
true.
if they don't see what they're looking for on the first page, they're done. Trash, I don't have time. I've got to look at, I'm hiring for 2 positions. I've got to look through, let's say, 100 applications. I don't have time.
Yeah. I just think it's really interesting. It's just, there's some really good sites to utilize out there, and there's some sites that maybe you want to steer away from.
Mm.
And I know, like you were saying with USA Jobs, that's a whole different monster. It's a whole
Yeah,
different animal.
that is one that I would love to get kind of a panel.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring down our counterparts from Tucson and get kind of what they know, what we know, what we've seen works, because we don't get we don't get a whole lot of training. I mean, we have to jump at it if we can find it.
And there's ways to build. I've been told just use resume builder in there now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think some of the big takeaways would be professional resume, neat professional. Pay attention to what you're applying for. As far as the websites go, pay attention to what you're logging into. Make sure it's an appropriate website. It's the right Walmart career website.
Yeah.
And everybody has their favorite website that works for them, but I think AJC is an important one to utilize.
I do. I like it. Get your resume in there. It does keyword matching. It'll email you, when a new job's listed.
They hunt in there too.
Yes.
Which I think is kind of neat too,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you have the right qualifications. Again, you don't know what the employer is looking for, so we get that a lot. Well, hey, Jerry, I had this employer reach out to me. Well, be careful, but at the same time, employers will do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the end of.
Yeah.
So
Run out of my brains.
yeah, I know it's kind
Hey,
of.
you were talking about tricks earlier. Check this out, man. Ready?
Wow, that is amazing.
I learned
That's
learned that I think when I was 2 years old.
that's pretty cool. That's
But I
impressive.
mean,
trick.
I'm 50 now, so I mean that's pretty good. My memory's still
Yeah,
pretty good.
you haven't started to lose it yet.
No.
You're still pretty. You're still able to do tricks.
Yeah.
You must be the life of a party.
And thank God to this thing, I remember birthdays and anniversaries.
I know, right? Oh yeah. But yeah, it's just kind of cool. But so we have a job fair coming up on the 10th
first.
or the first.
First, yeah. And then there is one up on post. I don't know the exact date, but I know it's going to be in October. So
It's a good excuse to come ask.
yeah,
Come down.
and yeah. And then if you are looking for work in Douglas or live in Douglas, October
Or just
8th,
want to work in Douglas.
Yeah, October 8th, I think it's a visitor center from, I think it's 10 to 2.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, Arizona at Work.
Yeah.
They have all the listings.
Yeah.
Upcoming. It's a good place to start.
Yeah. Yeah, and, come in, get your resume looked at before you go to any of these job fairs,
Doesn't hurt to have a second set of eyes.
Yeah, and we'll have, I think we've got the first listing of the employers for the one on the first.
It's a decent amount.
Yeah,
It's
hoping for more, a large variety.
Yeah.
So, and when you come down to the hiring fair, and we talked about this the one time we were talking about the hiring fair. You may go to a table and a company says, well, this is what we're looking for, and you're missing a couple of those. I'm missing that certification. Well, then you trot your rear end down to the Arizona at Work table and go, how do I? And
Where's Maria?
Yeah, where's Maria? Hey,
I need money.
you need to come
Need to pay
in.
for
Okay,
training.
we need you to come in at at what 8:50 on this day. Do an orientation, and then you'll find out how to apply.
And I think to get rid of all rumors and stuff like that, we have more jobs than we know what to do with people. There's jobs everywhere.
Yeah, we do, and it's easier to find a job when you have a job.
Yeah, exactly.
So
come into our offices, various locations throughout the state of Arizona, and just go in there and say, hey, what jobs you guys have in the local area? It's easy thing. It's an easy thing to do. Come on down. If you're a veteran, ask for a DVOP, and just kind of go from there.
Yep. So
yeah, it's kind of.
We'll be back next Thursday. We're gonna stay on top of this. We'll have different topics. We definitely want to have more guests come down.
I'd like to have Angelica come back because she's in a new exciting career.
Yeah, she's all right. Angelica,
you are amazing. Don't listen to Kevin.
Yeah. No, actually, we would love to have you come down because we want to hear more about what you're doing.
It's pretty cool what she's doing now.
Yeah.
Kind of neat. And I guess at some point we're going to have BSRs back on, more DVOPS, stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll have our amazing manager on.
After, what was it they did in 18? The slip B8 rocket?
Yeah,
the
that's what we'll do, yeah.
Flying? Yeah. But, well, all right. Well, till next time.
Later.
Later.
You guys stay safe.